Ooh, I can't believe it's been 5 years. I haven't been back at this Firehouse place in 5 years. 2017 is when I started this show. I tried. I hope. I don't know if I'll see Ebony Harper or oh my God, I'm getting too. Or is I'm just too anxious. I'm dressing myself like an idiot. Or like a person who walked out of an out-of-work porn star or something. Whew. I'm not trying to offend the youth viewers, even though we are still the youth and millennials place to be heard, but I'm getting too nervous and too anxious at the same time. What do I do? I'm trying to move through fast because this is a big moment I can't wait for. Oh God, it's showtime. Where my cards?
12 seconds.
Oh, just get the show started, please.
It's The Spotlight from their former home studio at the MNN El Barrio Firehouse in New York. Convicted. Brittany Griner gets sentenced to 9 to 10 years in a Russian prison after being found guilty of drug possession and smuggling, after making an emotional final plea for leniency. As President Biden and the government make their plans to bring Brittany Griner back home to the U.S., are we doing enough to set Brittany Griner free and back home safe from detainment? Plus, hip-hop artist Reality is here to talk about his life-changing moment from a decade ago that inspired him to create and release his new EP album, 10-1-12, and performs on stage. And Emily Doubilet is back as this week's guest co-host. Now, let's get it on and get this Spotlight Party started. Coming to you from the George C. Stoney Studio at the MNN El Barrio Firehouse Community Media Center in New York.
Hello.
We're back at it again. Woo! Well, hello. Welcome to the Spotlight. Welcome to the Spotlight. Here, yes. As you can plainly see, we are back again coming to you from our old home, which is the MNN El Barrio Firehouse Studios, where we first started the Spotlight 5 years ago before moving to our new big home that's down south from here. We are doing a month-long of shows here at the MNN El Barrio Firehouse George C. Stoney Studios. And you can also see that Via's not with us once again, but we hope to see her again soon. So we have Emily Doubilet guest co-hosting with us once again and filling in for Via Rutkowski. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, how y'all doing here?
Thank you for welcoming me to the Spotlight.
Well, listen, that energy, I get it from whenever I watch Whoopi do her thing, that's, all right, I'm not going to get into that. But
We should have her on the show.
Whoopi, Whoopi, don't get grumpy. Come on down to the Spotlight. We're sending the invitation to you.
Call me, Whoopi. Give me a call.
All right, listen. So with that being said, let's get it on and get straight into this because there's a lot to discuss here because there's breaking news that came out even last month where news broke out about WNBA star Brittany Griner. She was found guilty in a Russian court on drug smuggling and charges, and prosecutors are requesting that she should serve a 9 to 10 years prison sentence, but that's all the details we know at the moment here. More updates may come by the time you see this episode on air, but that's all what we can report to you for now. And we've been talking about this for a long while now, months now, and it's been hugely on our minds for quite a bit. So what do you think about this and what's going through your mind here, Emily?
I'm devastated about this. This is an American citizen, an incredible athlete, an Olympic athlete.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when I see the news, I just cry, actually, when I hear her story and see her looking so pale and tortured in this Russian prison camp.
Right.
I mean, it's just absolutely disgusting, sad.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what do you think? Yeah.
Even when there's still a war going on between Russia and Ukraine here, because it's a safety concern that is like really it's a lot here. I don't know how
a
else
lot.
to describe it, but I really hope Brittany Griner gets out of the Russian prison safe and sound and back to the USA. And I mean it for real here, because but some people are like, I've been hearing a lot of people saying that the Biden administration is really not doing enough to get Brittany Griner back to the United States here, and they're doing all they can. It just takes time. I don't understand why you are all rushing about this. I know it's been so long, but there's a process here, and we definitely want Brittany Griner back in the USA safe and sound here. But you just got to give it time here. We just got to try to get something settled here, and we're trying our best to do that. And I know it shouldn't take that long, but this is how everything is, and I know it's not. There's nothing else we could do about it. I know, and it's very disappointing at the same time,
But are we trying our best?
We
You're
are.
saying
That's
we're trying our best, but we don't really know.
That's
they
the
could
thing.
be completely being ineffective in the office.
Mm-hmm.
And from what I read a few weeks ago, there was a report that her wife couldn't even reach her for a scheduled phone call. Remember
Right.
that
Yeah.
news story?
Yeah.
So I don't know if we're doing our best, and I'm losing faith in the government, really.
That's the thing, and that's the point I'm trying
so
to make.
scary,
here.
honestly.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing that gets me. It's like it's the level of faith and trust in the government that I'm really not buying for, because it's really starting to go downhill on that level here, where I feel like there's nothing more that they're doing to like get Brittany Griner back safe and sound here, and I'm really just don't know what else to say. I'm just worried as everyone else is here, and all right, but at the same time we should all remain calm and be patient, because Brittany Griner will be back safe and sound soon. I just hope it's not this amount of years, of 9 to 10 years, because that's really like a very long time. And this 2022 has really just been in not really just a year. It's been quite. It's been a roller coaster, basically. And because the thing, because they said the White House, meanwhile, has said that they're working on a potential prisoner exchange with Russia to bring Griner and another American in prison in the country back to the U.S. here. And that is true. I should know the person's name, because I read an article about. I just can't. The name's just not coming to me, and I didn't get the information about that. But that's what they're trying to work on. So we just got to hope for the best.
You mean Paul? It says Paul Whelan.
Yes, that's it. Yes, that's
so they're
it.
trying to get him
That's the
home
name.
as well.
Yes.
I mean, it's just so scary, because she was flying there to play on a team in Russia. She was
Yes.
helping, sports in Russia.
She was just doing her job, basically. Yes.
And it was apparently such a small amount of hash. It was, I think the reports were saying 1 gram. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think that's really small. I might be, I'm not like a drug measurer, so I don't
Right.
I know off the top of my head how much a gram is. But.
Yeah. Well, none of us is good in science here, but I hear what you're saying for sure. Yeah. It's like, we don't know.
It was a mistake. It was an honest mistake that she made.
Yes. And all she's doing was she's just doing her job and just doing what she can here. And, I mean, prayers may not be enough, but we just got to hope for the best and see what the government does for Brittany Griner, and hope all goes well, okay? Yep. We'll be back, all right?
Well, I was homeschooled in high school, and it was really difficult for me to meet people, and I went to high school just for 1 year, to public school. I remember just walking in, it was first or second day of school, and I'm not kidding, I had a PB&J sandwich, and I go to the bathroom to eat because I didn't want to be seen. I felt like people were laughing at me. I was the new girl. And who wants to be friends with the new girl? I had to do my own thing. I started writing songs. I just got in my own little cocoon. I come from an Albanian family where we share all of our emotions, and it's taught me to really be helpful and reach out to someone if they're not like that. To say, hey, I know you're feeling bad about this certain thing, but don't put yourself down. Like, you can't just focus on that one moment. And I would tell my friends that and my cousins when I saw they were down and they didn't feel good and didn't want to talk about their emotions, because I think it's super important to talk with somebody and seek help when you're not feeling mentally there, because we've all been there and it's normal. I think it's important to know that we all have challenges in our life. We all have problems in our life. We all go through ups and downs every single day. It's not out of the ordinary. We all feel down sometimes. I mean, I had a friend, she, got her heart broken and she was just like hurting herself mentally and not leaving her room, and she just felt so down after this breakup, and it wasn't healthy. So I went inside her room, turned on the lights, and was like, we're going shopping. I think it's important to help people when you see they're down. It doesn't have to be shopping. It could be going to watch a movie with your friend, or taking your friend out to dinner, or taking your friend for like a walk just to talk. You can really help a lot of people just by knocking on their door and seeing how they are. A text like, hey, how are you doing? Make it about them. Like, reach out. I know I keep saying this, but it's so important. If you think your friend is struggling with mental health, reach out and start a conversation. For more tips, visit seizetheawkward.org.
Still ahead, hip-hop artist Reality on his new EP album, 10-1-12, and performs one of his songs on stage.
Actor Fred Savage is speaking out after he got fired from the Wonder Years reboot in May over allegations of misconduct. The actor, who starred in the original series from 1988 to 1993, was serving as director and executive producer of the reboot when complaints of misconduct were made against him. Now, after several women spoke out describing his alleged behavior, Savage denied the claims. So, is Savage Boy in trouble?
Well, are the Savage Boys?
The Savage Boys.
Yeah, because because Ben.
Who's the Savage Boy? Oh.
Ben Savage from Boy Meets World here, yes. And then you also got Fred Savage. Yes.
I didn't know about the Boy Meets World. What happened?
Well, no, because it's like I don't know.
We can't have anything anymore.
Well, the only reason I bring up the Savage Boys because anything can happen with what happened with the Cuomo brothers, basically, with New York Governor Andrew Cuomo and CNN anchor Chris Cuomo, where they was trying to do connection to defend their brothers and everything else, but it led them to trouble, basically. So I'm not sure if there could be something similar to what could be going on maybe between Ben Savage and Fred Savage. That's why I'm trying to bring up those connections here.
And what was Ben Savage's role in Boy Meets World?
Ben Savage,
you can refresh my and our viewers' memory here.
Well, Ben Savage played the role of Corey on Boy Meets World.
Oh, okay, the star.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's it.
Oh, wow. I didn't even realize they were brothers. So there you go.
Well,
wow.
It took a while to figure that out, but I knew because you just got to look at their last name and Google it, and it turns out they are brothers here.
Wow.
Yes.
Well, hopefully Ben hasn't been accused of any misconduct.
No, okay. I haven't heard anything. It's just mainly Fred Savage of the Wonder Years here, because that was being accused here because he was fired of complaints of misconduct here, and he made a statement saying that since he was 6 years old, he's worked on hundreds of sets with thousands of people and has always tried to strive, contribute, and to an inclusive, safe, and supportive work environment. Here.
Blah, 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 he lost me. I'm not buying the statement. I am not buying the statement because, first of all, it said several women have come forward, and my thoughts, as I explained in one of our previous episodes about sexual misconduct allegations. It's between 2 and 10% are false. So that means to 98% are true. And the more women you have accusing him, the higher chance that becomes true.
Right.
So I just don't buy the statement that multiple women accuse him of misconduct. That's the first red flag. Second of all, the statement is very vanilla cookie cutter to me that you just read. And he also grew up in a different time. You know, he was working for all these years way before the Me Too movement. And, you know, before there was more awareness. I'm not saying that excuses his behavior, but I'm saying, you know, he probably wasn't that, he just was probably being inappropriate.
Yeah, but did you
Because a lot of people were.
Well, yeah, but there's also a point where he was trying not to be inappropriate because he clearly continued on with his statement saying, while there's some incidents being reported that absolutely did not and could not have happened, any one person who feels hurt or offended by my actions is one person too many. I will work to address and change any behavior that is negatively affected anyone, and nothing in this world is more important to me than being a supportive coworker, friend, husband, father, and person. So it's like, listen, I know
blah, blah, blah.
it may be blah, 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 but at the same time, sometimes people just don't tend to like be mindful of what they've done in their heads here, and that's how it's like they just ignore it. But otherwise, and that's when the denials start coming in. But then but with other folks here, if they realize I didn't mean to do you no harm, because they know those are the people that don't have bad intentions, but they admit their mistakes. The ones that deny the things don't admit their mistakes of what they did, and that's the thing we gotta be careful of and be mindful of out here, because otherwise things could get ugly here, you know?
Yeah, and he's not admitting it. You know, I think his apology is very much like, I'm sorry if I made you feel that way, which is not a real apology. Don't you agree?
Well, here's a real apology. We ran over time. We'll be right back here, okay?
It's a big responsibility.
Oh, it's huge. I know, it's huge.
And the salary.
Oh my god, yes. I mean,
Right?
like, I was about to move in with my parents, and right before, so this saved me.
I really believe in you, you know?
Thank you. It's nice to hear that from someone.
These are cool. Did you, what did you?
A brain aneurysm can strike you when you least expect it, plunging your entire world into darkness. But if you know the warning signs, you're much more likely to survive. If you suddenly experience the worst headache of your life or sharp, sudden pain behind your eyes, do not ignore it. Please seek immediate emergency attention. It's time to shed some light on brain aneurysms. You gotta know the information.
The Lisa Colagrassi Foundation, lisafoundation.org.
On Xena, our battles are make-believe and no one gets hurt. At the end of the day, we take off our costumes and we go home. In real life, domestic violence injures and kills. But you can get help, and you don't need Xena's superhuman powers. You have a weapon that she doesn't, the telephone. If you or someone you know needs help, call the National Domestic Violence Hotline, 1-800-799-SAFE. Your call will be answered day or night in English or Spanish. Xena would want you to call, so do I.
people make room in the bed for their pets. The Washington Post looked at the pros and cons of sleeping with pets. They say that pets are proven to be stress relievers, but it can also disrupt sleep and can make the bed a little crowded, or make you itchy and scratchy, or perhaps bitchy, which happens to be me at times whenever I sleep with a pet. But if you have a pet, do you sleep with your pet, or would you allow your pet to sleep with you if you choose to get one?
What was this voice? I mean, I can't say I don't enjoy it. It was very entertaining.
That was my pet voice here. Mm-hmm.
What kind of pet is your pet voice that you're channeling?
That's just why any pet voice, whether if it's a fish or someone from Sesame Street here, or anyone in particular, but that's just me, or maybe a pet that maybe Mrs. Doubtfire had, or maybe a puppet or something.
Well, keeping my voice normal, being the boring person up here. But I will say I love pets. I love dogs, cats. Animals are angels on earth, and we do not deserve them. And if they want to sleep in our bed, I say, come on in.
So
and
you're
I'm going
okay
to
with
sleep
that?
on the edge of the bed to make room for my dog. Because my dog brings me so much joy. So much joy.
So you do have a dog?
Yes.
What's the dog's name?
My dog is named Charlie.
Charlie Rose. Ah.
Charlie the Pomeranian.
Oh. How's cute.
We should bring her to the studio one day.
Maybe one day, yes.
And what about you? You have pets?
I used to, but I'm not gonna. I'd rather not say anything here. Mm-hmm. But I do recall. Some of my family members had pets here. I think one, like I had my.
Oh, you're losing the voice?
Well, I'm trying. Listen, it's taken me a while to get back to my normal voice here. Okay.
It's a journey.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It is a journey. But my aunt had a pet cat. She had numerous pets of cats, and I think one of them slept in the bed with her and just left a lot of cat hair on the bed and a couch and everything else, I believe. And then one of the other cats was like hiding behind a television station dresser and was like hiding from my aunt. I'm like, I don't get it here. But listen, but that was the type of pets I had, that my family had, and enjoyed. And there's this cousin's dog I had who just like it was like, better. Yeah. But speaking of pets, a survey from I and Love and You of 2,000 pet owners found that a third of individuals who have kids like their pets more than children. Is there a red flag on that part here?
Well, that warms the cockles of my cold heart to hear that people like pets more than their kids. I mean, it kind of cracks me up.
Have you ever experienced that?
Yes, actually. Well, the thing is, I don't have kids, okay? But a lot of my friends do, but I have my dog.
But have you ever experienced that when you were a kid here?
I had a dog growing up. I was never jealous of the dog.
Yeah, but were your
parents... I felt like the dog was, like a sibling in a way.
But did your parents favor the dog more than you here as a kid?
I may have been from a very blessed household, but luckily I was favored over the doggy. Oh. But I myself favored the dog.
Yeah, because, I've been in a situation where a person's had cats, but they favored the cats over me. Like I did something wrong, which was not true. It was the cats that were misbehaving. I was behaving well. And yet they just still accused me for just, that was then. I'm like, luckily that was back more than 20 some odd years ago, but we'll be back, okay?
Dad, are you okay?
I'm fine, dear.
Your hero needs you. AARP is here to help. Find the resources you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
Selfie. Nailed it.
Are you a feminist? Do you believe in gender equality? In order to be a feminist, you have to understand what feminism is. Feminism is the movement to fight oppression against women. The movement can be divided into 3 waves. Hey. The first wave began in the 1830s to the 1900s, which was known as the suffrage movement. This focused on women having the right to vote. The second wave began in the 1960s to the 1980s. This focused on trying to stop discrimination and sexism against women, which also expanded women's roles in households and society. The third wave was, The third wave was a response to the second wave. This began in the 1990s to today. As of today, we are still working for reproductive rights, equal pay, and the acceptance of women in society. Oh wait, this was written by men! Ladies, don't let society hold us back. Who won the world? Girls!
When I first walked into M&N, my first impression about M&N, it was like I couldn't believe, because this is something I've always wanted to do. I had never hosted a television show at all until I found out about M&N. So I went to a film school back in high school where I studied television and film. And before I got into college, I found out about Manhattan Neighborhood Network, how to produce a television show, how to operate cameras, create your own show, how to do basic editing, build your brand, and to get it out into the public. We're not getting a lot of youth community voices. The Spotlight is basically, it's a way for us to give the youth to express their voices and express themselves. They have a voice at the end of the day. If you ever want to pursue something similar to working in television and film production, it gets easier as time goes on and it gets more fun. Never relinquish your dreams. So here's a Spotlight flashback that'll have us grooving and spinning and watch. Hey, so there's a... Well, I've been having fun with this lately, but there is a new toy that is sweeping the nation and gaining popularity even as we speak. It's said to compare yo-yos to and Rubik's Cubes, and yet lots of kids and young adults as well can't get enough of these fidget spinners. They're often designed to help relieve stress and keep you calm, cool, collected, and relaxed. Do you find these fidget spinners a distraction or what?
Yes.
Or will you find them relaxing?
I find them relaxing.
Well, explain to our viewers.
Well, I'm one of those people that need to focus on multiple things in one time. So I cannot just listen to one thing and have my full undivided attention on it. And this helps me and take information better.
Yeah.
So, if I'm waiting online or something and I have this, I don't mind waiting for an hour. It's only how much do these cost?
If you go to like bodegas, they're like $5 each here or something. I'm just testing this trick, as I heard people. This is probably one of the reasons why they get distracted because of this.
I'm gonna try that.
That would be the new reason why.
Right,
I didn't even think of that.
Especially now that they see you doing that. So yeah, so come to the Heights to buy these fidget spinners for $5.
Yes, I feel so good that these make me feel so good right now. I'm happy already. No, wait.
Yeah, they're really fun.
No, wait.
I don't want it to fall on you.
No, wait. Hold just a minute. No, wait. No, wait. Hold. Let me see if this could spin on you. No, wait.
No.
It would be funner if they flew or something, but
So
this is good for me.
Yeah. So if you are stressed out and you need a little more relief,
Yeah.
Pick up one of these fidget spinners. You know, I believe some of them were originally meant for autistic children, but clearly they could be a benefit to everyone. So if you're a multitasker and you have the attention span of rodents like the rest of us do, just pick up one of these and you should be able to multitask, or at least give yourself a few seconds or moments of
And it makes you look cool. It makes you look cool.
Yeah,
so
yes,
that's one of your
with
problems.
this.
You can have that on you, and it will make you look cool.
Yeah, this is the new thing to look cool, apparently.
Yeah, I haven't had
Spinning
this
a toy.
I haven't had this much fun since I started the show back in January or whenever. I finally got these fidget spinners here.
Yes, the solution to all
It
this.
just makes
solution right
here.
here.
It makes me. I can't wait to see the next thing. Oh, they also have the two-sided ones. You know how these have three?
And then the
I interviewed my
ones,
godson last night about this. By the way.
And you know, let me just also, the YC Weekly did a segment about this, and well, take a look for yourself. Show us the clip here from the YC Weekly that you're gonna find this funny here. Take a look.
Hi everyone, I'm your new host, Natalie. It's been a while, but we're back with another YC Weekly. It seems that over the past few months, we just couldn't get enough of fidget spinners. Woo! Look at it go. I don't know what the big deal is. These are gonna be out of style in a few months.
Who are you, and what have you done with Ari and the other YC Weekly hosts?
I'm not sure. I'm Natalie, new host.
And who assigned you as the YC Weekly host?
That guy.
Oh, yeah. Is that my fidget spinner? I've been looking all over for this. Oh, my precious.
Well, that explains why you should not be messing with my fidget spinner, okay? Right on the money on that. And this is why I tell people to not mess with my fidget spinners or anything else. All right, I told them to don't touch my stuff and everything else here.
I wouldn't mess with the fidget spinner or any of your stuff.
Thank you. We'll be back here. Please don't touch my stuff, okay?
Reality's here to talk about his life-changing moment that inspired him to release his new EP album, 10-1-12, based on that day a decade ago, and performs one of his songs from his EP album, Next.
Hey, wait up. There's a mistake. I am more than this.
Seems okay to me, kid. Maybe you should check your math, huh? Hey there. Hey, boss. Let's see what you got. Maybe you should check yours.
As an American recording artist born and raised in New York City, he quickly developed a passion for the arts at an early age, from singing in church alongside his older brother Reggie to writing music and poetry. He released his debut EP album in August 2020, titled 10112, and has been ranked the top 20 upcoming charts by Starlight PR. Please give it up for a warm welcome to my bro that I'm so happy to have on the show. Give it up for Reality! Woo! Give it up. Wow. Wow. Well, I don't know where to begin here. Listen, this is just something. I'll tell you one thing for sure. You know, I mean, I'm just curious. Well, I'm going to get to this in just a moment because you're with this amazing music background. Because even when I've heard your songs, it was like, this is really something like where you could be called, is not Reality, but another version of Common, the rapper. I mean, David, do you usually get that a lot or what?
Nah.
Well,
I don't get that often.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. But listen, let's tell us about the time when, because you were born and raised, well, to be specific, on Manhattan's Upper West Side. But like, how did the music and poetry all begin and everything else? Right? How did it lead to that here?
That's a good question. I remember not remembering just when I started singing in church. I just remember being raised with my grandmother, my brother, and I. Every Sunday, woke up early, headed to Sunday school because my grandmother was a Sunday school teacher. And next thing you know, like on a consistent basis, the pastor just, we'll have a selection from the Wilson brothers. That's what they called us.
Right.
And until he started to call us the Young Israelites. So at an early age, I don't even remember, but I could pretty much say since I was able to walk, I've been performing, things of that nature. Yeah, so starting to actually write my own music, it actually came down to, I was in second to third grade, and I had a crush on this girl.
Really?
And, yeah, and
how did the girl respond?
That's coming right now. Let me tell you right now. So, my grandmother used to work overnight, so me and my brother ended up downstairs at our babysitter's house, who we call her Miss Green, Sister Green. So she had a grandson there. She's an elderly woman. She had a grandson who's my best friend, David, actually, and he.
I hope it's not my evil twin you're referring to here.
Nah, it's all good vibes.
Okay, good. Because listen, there's too many Davids in this world that fought Goliath.
Yeah,
okay?
right.
All right.
Yeah, so I remember asking his dad, who was married at the time, and I asked him. I said, "Hey, how did you end up meeting David's mom? Like, how did that happen?" He said, "Well, one day I wrote her a poem, and with that, that stuck with me. So I just remember from that day, like, I had like a note card, and I think I wrote her a poem, and I made her a bracelet, and it never went anywhere. To answer your other question, but it was just being able to sit there and express myself, and just like, be confident in who I like and expressing that to the person themselves, not being around the bush and things of that nature. That really definitely helped with development in writing music, lyrics, especially in relaying those lyrics over to women. So that definitely helped in my journey. But that's an origin story for you right there.
Right, and I think all this led to the time when you were doing like performances because you were awarded the opportunity to showcase your talents at Radio City Music Hall, Carnegie Hall, and the Apollo Theater. Like, tell us more about that experience and like, how did you feel when that occurred? Basically,
I like that because actually, while being in like elementary school, my brother and I were a part of this choir, which is called the Young People's Chorus of New York City. It's definitely still a very great program that I would recommend to children and youth across the city.
Yes.
But with that, just honestly being a part of something like that, it really helped shape I guess you could say some optimism for the future, like just being granted certain opportunities. Not every like inner city child gets to experience that. So
exactly
through the YPC, Young People's Chorus, I ended up performing at the 92nd Street Y. We did Carnegie Hall. Radio City and everything was separate. So Radio City, I performed at Radio City when I was in 5th grade with my homie JQL, who's an artist, you know what I'm saying, from putting on for Harlem, doing this thing right now. Shout out to him. And me, him, and another friend of ours, Jalen at the time, we auditioned for the Garden of Dreams Foundations. They had some, I don't really remember the specific event, but the headline was Radio City Music Hall. We ended up doing that, and we performed our song entitled This Is Our Community, which is written by us, produced by us. And
do you remember the song that you were talking about, This Is Our Community, and how it goes? Could you give us a little sample of that?
I remember I said, so like the hook was like, this is our community, welcome to the unity. When you come around
so
here,
it was a little
people
rap
don't even
there.
care. It was a full song, 3 verses, 3 hooks. It was done, yeah.
Wow. Yeah, well, how about, I wonder if you could do, if you said this is our community, I wonder if you could do like a little same version of the rap, but replace the word community with spotlight.
Okay.
Let's see how that goes, because this is the spotlight.
All right. We started from the bottom, but we chilling at the top. All right. Hope that you enjoy me and David in the spotlight.
Oh! I need an encore of that, y'all. But listen, I want to talk to you about this album here that you dropped in 2020 over the summer here called 10-1-12, where there was a day that really changed your life on that day, and I'm assuming that day was August 1st, 2012, if I'm correct, right? Or like tell us about how that happened.
October 1st, 2012.
Yes.
So
which kind of like explains how you named the title 10-1-12?
Yes, that is.
Tell us.
So pretty much when I was in high school, I had a crush on this girl.
Oh, how many crushes of girls are you having lately, you know?
No crushes currently.
Oh my goodness. Boy, I wish my co-hosts were here, you know. They probably would be all over you right now, maybe. I think.
I'm taking.
Yeah.
But so I was going through a 10-1-12 is pretty much my coming of age story, dealing with the heartbreak. That day is significant to me because at the time, I remember being in 9th grade, my 9th grade year, towards like the 2nd semester of the year. I really started to like this girl that I was already friends with, and I really liked her. I ended up in summer school my freshman year of high school, but so over the summer, I just remember thinking about her often. Like, dang, I can't wait till we come back to school so we could like finally get it started, make this happen. Because we left on like a potential, you know. Summer went by, I didn't get to see her. Starting the school year, you know, the vibe is back. I finally waited like a long time. So we got together the day of October 1st, but that night, like going into October 1st, we had a very long conversation over the phone. I learned a lot of things. I learned what virginity meant to a young woman. So that definitely opened my eyes up, coming from a neighborhood full of young men and young women who are raised in single parent households. And, you know, not just having a full structure, like I was shaped by my environment as much as I let that happen. So I definitely, at that point, I would say I became a man because that's when I owned up and took accountability for my actions.
Was there anything else that you learned from that day or that night here?
That night in particular, I feel like just the experience was a learning experience. And I grew up since then.
Wow.
You know? And so taking that conversation we had, how I felt in my heart at the time, and the experience that I went through with that person, it definitely contributed to who I am now. So.
Yes, and you know, and one of the songs that you're going to be performing for us coming up shortly. Here is Thoughts of You, where you use a raw hip hop to give some of that old school vibe here, and like, what type of old school vibe are we talking about here? Are we referring to like something similar to how Will Smith did his Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, or his song with Summertime with DJ Jazzy Jeff here?
Okay.
Can you explain that?
That's a great question. I actually just want to let you know that it's funny you mentioned old school, because for years I felt like I was a person that had an old soul. And so I remember being in high school, well, growing up, I was never really allowed to grow my hair out.
Right.
My grandmother, I used to cry in the barbershop. She used to take me to get haircuts. I used to cry all the time. Let me keep it? No.
But did they give you tissues?
No, they didn't.
Oh, God. What barber did you go to that didn't give you tissues?
It is crazy because I remember like going
Would
to the ninth grade.
somebody please give him a tissue? For God's sake here. I mean...
Nah, that's funny.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, like, throughout my freshman year, like I said, the album, the EP is like a coming of age story. So I came from going to a middle school uniform school to actually going to high school where we can be very expressive. We can dress however we want, no uniform. So that's what I'm doing. I'm literally finding who I am. So I don't really know how to dress or how to dress. I don't know if I should blend in with the people that's all from one neighborhood. I don't know if I should dress like I'm from downtown Soho area. I don't, so I'm figuring that out. Amongst that, I don't really know what to do with my hair because I was never really allowed to grow it. I didn't really feel like myself until I went and got a fade. I used to walk around with a flat top. That was just me. I had a high top fade throughout all of high school. So when you mentioned like old school, 90s, like what kind of vibe I was going for, I guess I just wanted to be authentic to myself. I never felt like more handsome until I started putting that on. I felt very confident. You know, I just really felt like I was becoming a man and like my own. So I kind of feel like, I always used to feel like, man, I'm not supposed to be here. I wish I was born in like such and such so I could be a teenager in the 90s. You know?
Well, listen, Reality, you are a man, and and we have thoughts of you that we can't wait to hear from you coming up, because listen, we don't want anyone to go anywhere, because when we get back, you're gonna hear his thoughts, and you're gonna get turned up and get real and keep it 100. Because Reality is hitting the stage in just a moment. We'll be back, y'all. Woo!
33,000 signed petitions were delivered to the Department of Justice by the parents of Ramarley Graham, the 18-year-old boy who was shot and killed 2 years ago in his home when NYPD officer Richard Hayes entered his house without a warrant. Ramarley's family, along with supporters, are demanding the DOJ launches a full investigation of his case.
And we're going to march right around the corner to the Department of Justice building. The family is going to go inside to deliver their petition. The rest of us are going to stand up on the steps outside the Department of Justice building, and we're going to hold a rally right there, hold it in support of them as they go inside. We're going to make sure that the whole building is shaking while they're in there delivering those petitions, right? Hands up, don't shoot! Hands up, don't shoot! Hands up, don't shoot! Hands up!
Now it's time to say we need a new system. We need a new way of protecting our communities and keeping our communities safe, because it's clear that the police department and our criminal justice department has done a poor job at keeping our communities safe. So now it's time for us to come together and figure out what's the alternative to the NYPD and to the criminal justice system in this country as a whole.
Thank you, and we are demanding that we have a meeting with them in 30 days. 30 days, no, not a day after that, 30 days. Because we want answer. We can't have no more Romani. We can't have no more Garner. We can't have no more Mike Brown. It stops here. That's right. We have to stop with us. Our kids matter. We deserve better. We are human beings. Treat us like such. Thank you.
Many other families who have lost loved ones due to police brutality have been left in the dark with no answers. It is time for the police to be held accountable for their actions.
It's not just limited to New York City, but there are so many cases that are just kind of thrown out the window. And that's so symbolic of what this country's criminal justice system kind of thinks and feels about Black and brown bodies. Black, young, and brown male bodies. It makes a huge statement about how far we've come or how far we have not come as a criminal justice system. So I think this is a good chance to give tangible accountability to the community from law enforcement.
Ladies and gentlemen, performing Thoughts of You from his EP album 10112. Once again, give it up for Reality!
Something on my notepad. And yo, I always wanted someone like you, but I couldn't describe, couldn't decide how to tell those other women goodbye. Refused to just try and listen to you. I was with my other shorty running around, drowning in pain, cause I got used to the lies. I saw love, she was seeking a compliment. Finally grew a booty, so it boosted her confidence. Got fed up with the teacher, so her work was incompetent. Never would spread her legs, nowadays it's the opposite. I got a bunch of opinions over 100 thoughts. She did me dirty, I'm aware, but I still love her, of course. I was a toy and she showing the remorse. Pulled her to my crib to return everything that I bought. How embarrassing, got me thinking what I do to deserve that and deserve this. I'm only human, lady, ain't nobody perfect. She used to come around and make a brother nervous. Now I'm sending this to her in hopes that it was worth it. Ooh, I ain't gonna lie, still be thinking about you. Hey, I be getting these thoughts of you. I ain't gonna lie, still be thinking about you. I'm getting lost in thoughts of you. Finding yourself experience it with makeup after I break up. Phone on do not disturb in case I call you don't wake up. But I know that your eyes are open. Late at night you would stay up, so I indulge in my hustle, making sure I get paper. But I was clumsy. I tripped and fell in love by an accident, holding on to emotion that you felt were inadequate. Some shorty gave me her body. You stopped me from catching me. Now I'm just ordinary, like season in your cabinet. You didn't drink when I met you. Is that innocent girl who gave up on love? Cause you're more interested in the world rather than my words. I thought that I was more than your first. You talked about it, but you live and you learn. And yo, one day I made a trip and I didn't say where I was, but it was pouring rain and plus I took a train and a bus with just a hoodie on. I called and said, look out your window. If you cared for me, you poked your head out, and there your boy was. I can tell it was love. But I still be thinking about you. Hey, I be getting these thoughts of you. I've been thinking, I've been drinking, I've been dreaming. I've been thinking, I've been drinking, I've been dreaming. I've been thinking, I've been drinking, I've been dreaming of you. I've been thinking, I've been dreaming. Hey yo, we like a first gen iPhone. It won't work no more. These thoughts of you just pop up like it don't hurt no more, but it does and it sucks. This feeling in my gut wants to hold on, but it's been so long you probably don't give up about this real brother's whereabouts. It's hard to fathom I'm a person you once cared about. You're super emotional. You told me you'd always love me and it hurts that now you don't even give a damn about the girls that I be wearing. Now who would have thought that we'd be cuffing on borrowed time? I ain't gonna say I'm obsessed, I can say I'm borderline. These thoughts of you always raining on my parade. With the moment I picture you, leave my brain, girl, I'll be mortified. Someone come save me, somebody come and help me. I've been beating myself up, I know that it ain't healthy. Somebody come save me, somebody come and help me. I've been beating myself up, I know that it ain't healthy. I be thinking about you. I get These thoughts of you, babe. I be thinking about you. These thoughts of you, babe. I be thinking about. These thoughts of you, babe. I be thinking about. These thoughts of you, babe. Hey, 10 more 12. I be thinking about you. Oh, no, 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 no.
Listen, you gave me grooving backstage over here with that. Really thinking about, you know. One day I'm gonna do a duet with someone. All right, But listen, you got to come back. We enjoyed your performance. We enjoyed having you on here. I don't know which camera. Oh, here we go. So listen, our special thanks to Reality. You can catch his EP 10112 on all streaming platforms. That's like 250,000 of them I could name, or 500,000 I could name, but it's like too much here to do. But in the meantime, thank you. I mean, listen, I go through this all the time. We go with these cameras and everything. But listen, all right? Get your minds right here, crew. Listen. But I can't even breathe. But anyway, listen, we're glad we're back at the Firehouse. Thanks to the El Barrio Community Firehouse for allowing us in once again. We are back here next week as we continue our month-long of shows, revisiting our old home from 5 years ago in honor of our 5th year on the spotlight here. In the meantime, have a great week. Good luck, be well, be safe. Stay Reality or comment or 100 or whatever you want to do here, okay? And take a little time to have fun. Express yourself and enjoy
the spotlight.
Woo! You can drop that mic here. No.
I'm gonna drop it.
No, but I don't